Well, it's been a roller coaster, whether it be this series or the last, I don't know, 6 years as a Celtics fan. But they made the finals. Even with that said, man, if that Jimmy Butler 3 went in, man, that's all I got to say about that. That last stretch where the Heat were just double teaming what seemed like Tatum pretty much every time he was within the 3 point line. They also had that one where they doubled Smart on the baseline, and then I think it was Strus came over and like stripped it from a Time Lord from behind. So their defense really was freaking them out in the last chunk there. And the Celtics offense, I mean, we know this. Like, at times they can just go into this mode where they play too slow. They're looking for matchups a little too much, like going for that Strus Tatum switch a little too hard. And then there's 7 seconds left on the shot clock. And combine that with the smart double teaming Miami was doing. And then on the other end, whether it's, Strus had one crazy three. I think Lowry took it in himself on a layup at least once. It got really dicey there. And also, got to acknowledge that overturned Max Strus 3 where I got to see another angle on that one because I don't know about that. I've seen it once and I don't know, man. That's all I'm going to say. It got bad late. And then you also had like Lowry who hit a three as well as a floater over Horford dropping on him, two different possessions. Jimmy had a pick and roll with Lowry where he scored on a switch that wasn't that good of a switch from the Celtics. It was kind of slow. Miami, listen, given the injuries, especially to Tyler Hero, and I mean, we know how much he matters for their offense, but I mean, Lowry through parts of the series was just having a rough time, whether it be making shots, getting on the court, whatever it was. To get it as close as they did, you got to give them a lot of props. I mean, on the other end, I think the interesting thing for the Celtics was the amount of assists that Tatum and Jalen had. I don't remember all of them, but skip passes. There was that one where Grant Williams was in the dunker spot, and Tatum got free on the top of the key. That one play where Smart slipped the screen on the Tatum thing, and then he just had it in the middle of the floor, and it resulted in a floater. Although the one from Jalen that I think I liked the most was maybe the least theatric. It was just a swing pass to Marcus Smart in the corner, and then it led to Marcus Smart getting a floater, and the initial thing was a Jason Tatum double team. But that sort of thing wasn't a guarantee last season, let alone the first whatever games of this season. And of course, so much of this has got to go to Udoka. Yeah, I know I had a moment with the Daniel Tice start a couple videos ago. Udoka's great. I love the guy. And then, of course, you've got the moments of Tatum and Jalen just being good. I mean, Tatum making that turnaround jumper when there was like 2 seconds left on the shot clock on that one play. That turnaround over Jimmy was nuts. To talk about Miami a little bit more, looking at their salary sheet now, that basically $17 million for Duncan Robinson next season, it doesn't look great, given that Max Strus has pushed him out of the starting lineup. And if you could have that money going to somebody who can do a little bit more off the dribble and be a little more of a hub on offense for you, or if Robinson could just get back to being that threatening of a shooter, that would be nice. They've got most of their draft picks available for trades. The awkward part comes in the form of the tradable salaries for them, because their only guy making 15-ish million is Duncan Robinson. Besides that, it's guys who are making less than 10 million, so it's tough to put them in deals. And even then, you're not going to trade Hero for anything besides like a mid-20s star, I would guess. And then it's Lowry, Bam, and Jimmy. So it's just kind of a weird spot right now, but it's tough to be as good as you can be if you're just getting nothing out of a guy who's making over $15 million. If I didn't mention it, leaning on Bam more offensively. He was great in this game as a scorer, and he also had that one other game in this series, but there needs to just be a little more of a push towards him looking for his shot sometimes, whether that's him working on his jumper more or just, hey, take your guy off the dribble more often, because, you're one of the best ball-handling big guys in the league, and also getting better at that sort of 12-foot shot that he ends up taking over the other center a lot of the time. But yeah, for the Celtics, obviously they got the Warriors now, and that prediction will happen when it happens. It's just kind of wild to think of where it all was 3 months ago or something, 4 months ago. And, I mean, I was never on the trade Tatum or Jalen thing, although I was a bit on the, Jalen's contract is starting to get down there, and if he's going to want out after the season, because I thought at one point the season was just going to be a lost season, basically, then that would have got scary, but, well, yeah. Between the switching defense, which looked pretty awkward to open up the season, it was like, well, guys are slow to switch, or sometimes there's miscommunications or whatever, doing just enough to move away from the ISO heavy ball, which does still creep up now and then, but Tatum setting screens, Marcus screening for Tatum or the other way around. Also, to me, what's been a little underrated is how they've found the perfect blend of having the ball in Jalen's hands, but not too much, because we know how the ball handling stuff creeps up with him sometimes, but just having him off of down screens instead of just, let's run a pick and roll for you up top, like they might do with Tatum a little bit more often. Like, it sounds basic, but not every team gets there. But yeah, Celtics made the finals. I did not think I'd be saying that, like, halfway through this season.